Welcome, welcome, welcome. If you haven't been on our platform before, welcome to Limitless, brought to you by me, Dion from Action Factory. And tonight is our live stream session number 3. So I'm really excited. We've made it through 2. We are at number 3. So if you haven't been on this platform before, a warm welcome. And I really trust that you will find something to learn, something that is interesting, something that you can use, something that makes you feel more empowered. So, what is Limitless really all about? This platform I run every Monday night, where? Right here, where you're seeing this at the moment. Every Monday night at 7 o'clock for an hour, roughly an hour, I talk about limitless. And limitless is a simple concept. It's a concept based on the principle that we are human and we have got limits that we create ourselves. I do believe that if we really unpack our potential, if we really live our potential, if we really start learning what we are truly capable of, we will exceed limits that just blows the mind. If you look back at humanity and you look back and let's take someone that was alive 1,000 years ago, and if you could run back in time, you could ask that person if they would look at someone 1,000 years from now, in other words, you and I, would they be able to grasp this world that we are living in? And I honestly don't believe they would even have the potential to grasp the world we live in. So we are developing and we have got more to develop. And that's what Limitless is all about. This is episode 3. I'm Dion Groenewald. Good evening, everybody. I hope you are going to enjoy tonight's session as much as I am, because tonight's session is a topic that is close to my heart. It's something I really want to talk about. Episode 1, we spoke about breaking through out of these limitations of the cages we create. Last session, the second session, we spoke about what true authenticity, is and what it looks like and how we can create it in our lives. But tonight I want to talk about another cage because we create a lot of cages, these invisible cages that limit us, and we should live limitless lives. But the cage tonight is a very interesting cage. It's the cage of, how do I put it nicely without offending anybody? Because I'm in the personal development industry, and I'm going to say this, I'm probably going to offend or upset some people in this industry, and even some of my students that's been on the journey. I want to talk about toxic positivity. So the first thing is really, can positivity be toxic? The answer, I think, is yes. I think there is such a thing as toxic positivity. So let's just unpack it. Let's talk about it. Let's really just get a deeper understanding of what it is. Now, I want to start off with a basic principle we need to understand as humans. And the basic principle is that in our world, in our reality, most of the things that we experience through comprehension. We need to understand certain things to be able to experience it. But what we don't always realize is a lot of the things we experience, for us to be able to experience and comprehend it, it is required to exist in duality. So what does that mean? It means, in simple terms, for me to be able to understand up, I need to understand down. For me to be able to understand left, I need to understand right. So I want to pause with that concept because you need to grasp that before anything else will make sense tonight. For me to grasp left, I need to grasp right. It's when both of them exist that I have an understanding of either. So I can't understand left without left and right existing. I can't understand up without down existing. I need to understand what's up and down for me to isolate either one of the two. I need to understand in to comprehend out. I need to understand light to comprehend dark. I need both to exist for me to comprehend either one of the two. Now, as humans, feelings require duality for comprehension. I'm going to repeat that slowly and then we're going to unpack it a little bit. Feelings require duality for comprehension. In other words, how do you know you're happy? Well, you really need to experience the complete opposite of happiness. And whatever name you want to give it, you're welcome. Call it anger, call it disappointment, call it sadness, um, whatever. How do you know you are depressed? Well, you need to really appreciate joyful moments and happiness. How do you know you're angry? Well, you need to know what calm really means. So, for us to comprehend anything, we require the duality. Now, earlier on, I spoke about the toxic positivity. So, what am I talking about when I talk about toxic positivity? And I'm talking about this duality. What I'm talking about is in our industry, and I love this industry. I've been in this industry for 17 years. I'm 62 years old. For the past 17 years of my life, I've dedicated it to the personal development industry. And I love it. And I love the people in this industry. But there is a movement where people in this industry are trying to deny the fact that negative emotions and feelings and experiences are allowed to exist. And what it's doing, it's creating a very toxic positivity environment. It's turning emotional intelligence into emotional ignorance. I don't believe we can go through life like an ostrich and put our head in the sand and just ignore certain things that's happening. So millions of people around the world in this industry have been convinced that feeling bad is bad, or thinking negatively is purely negative. Or, and here's the one where it really hurts for me. There's an area where we believe that if I'm struggling, it means I'm doing life wrong. There's something wrong about me because I'm struggling. So what's happened is there's become this fake pretense in our industry where a lot of people in our industry are putting up this mask of positivity the whole time, even though on the inside they're cracking, they're breaking down, they're distraught, they not really surviving that well. But man, I can't show that I'm going through a tough time. And that's become a little bit of a, I almost want to say a bit of a disease to a certain extent. So the truth is that the good vibes concept, only good vibes. You have to always be good. You have to always be amazing. You have to always be in a good mood. You have to always be on top of your game. You have to always be positive. Always, always. I don't think it's just a culture that's gone a little bit astray. I personally think it can be kind of a little bit dangerous because without accepting and without embracing some of the opposites of the positive emotions and feelings we have in this life, without reality check-ins about the realities of life and some of the negatives in life, we're going to create a very expensive delusion that we're living in. It's not just dangerous. I do think it becomes a little bit delusional. And the problem with it is we're creating a generation of emotional invalids, people that cannot handle reality because they've been taught that the full reality is optional. You know, I can live in this form of positive escapism the whole time. But the reality is it's not going to last. It's not going to last. And that's something we need to learn to deal with in this industry. So, what are we talking about? Well, we're talking about invisible cages, and we sometimes create invisible cages of beliefs and concepts in our own mind. And if we cannot allow ourselves to deal with the opposites of life, we are creating an invisible cage for us. And it's well, what are we going to call this cage? I don't want to use the word toxic positivity anymore because it doesn't sit right with me. I'll change it. Let's call it forced positivity. And it's a disguise in of freedom. It's living in this playbook where everything is beautiful, everything is amazing, life is amazing, everything it is. And we try and consciously deny all our negative emotions. Typical things that comes out of our mouths is things like just think positive thoughts. I don't think it's possible to just think positive thoughts. I do believe we need the opposite thoughts as well. How do you know it's a positive thought if you don't know what a negative thought is? I mean, don't the two require each other to exist? So if someone says to me, just think positive thoughts, I'm really struggling with that concept because I don't believe it's a full reality. I don't believe it's real. The second thing that I often hear that people tend to say in our industry, and that is, everything happens for a reason. I'm not too, I don't know. I think that's minimizing some of the real results and things that happen in our lives. And, you attract things with your energy or just raise your vibration or connect to your higher self. Or one of the things that someone said, others, I remember when I was small, my parents used to say, there's people in this world that got it so much worse than us. I don't know. I think we've come up with so many phrases that we've created this imaginary world where we can just live in a permanent state of positivity. And I don't believe it's a realistic thing. Now, I'm not saying negatives must be powerful. I'm gonna give you guys solutions tonight. I want to put everything into context and I want to give you really powerful solutions in the sessions tonight. But we need to understand the basics from where we're coming from. We need to understand firstly, there's a little bit of a problem in our industry. We need to be authentic and real about it, and we need to then say, all right, what are we going to do about it? And I'm hoping tonight, I trust tonight that I'm really going to bring a little bit of truth to the platform and bring balance in this amazing world that we live in. So one thing I do want to say is, and this is something interesting that I actually read up about, I'm going back about 3 weeks ago. There's new studies that are coming out that's looking at people that don't really deal with their emotions. Um, so if you take negative experiences, if you take negative emotions, and you try and lie to yourself that they're not happening, in other words, you deliberately suppress them. So let's say I'm in the personal development industry. And there are days that I have to coach people, I have to train, I have to run workshops, I've got to do keynote talks, whatever the case may be. I've got to be on a platform like this. If I deny for myself that sometimes I'm tired, I'm exhausted, I might be sad, I'm not feeling as great, I'm not top of my game, if I deliberately deny those feelings, what is happening is they don't disappear. They actually, um, they build up. And they start manifesting in very, very strong negative responses and reactions. In fact, they can even manifest eventually in physical sickness. So, what we need to realize is that the deliberate toxic positivity, I'm going back to that word, can literally make us physically sick. So, the question is, where's the solution? And I think the solution lies in realizing that emotional maturity isn't about feeling good all of the time. Maturity is about feeling everything and having the capability of choosing wisely. It's 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 not a matter of eliminating the negative emotions. It's about eliminating the power they have over your decisions. So let's talk about that tonight. Let's talk about what is the empowering part? What is it that we can do? And how can I use this concept of understanding that feelings exist in duality? In other words, I am going to be sad, I am going to be happy, I'm going to be angry, I'm going to be calm, I'm going to be uncontrolled, I'm going to be controlled, I'm going to be irritated, I'm going to be feel extremely confident. I am going to have this duality of multiple emotions exist in me. The question is, how do I master all of them? And I'm going to give you guys a very simple metaphoric image, if I can call it that. This I spoke to my one daughter earlier today, and this image just popped into my head because we spoke about this concept. And what I saw was a an orchestra, a lot of musicians with I saw a classic, I saw piano and trumpets and violins and trombones and all kinds of, classical instruments. And I saw a conductor standing in front of them with the little stick and, making sure that everything is working in harmony. And the moment I realized that, the penny just dropped for me. We have multiple emotions. Now, imagine for a moment that every single type of emotion you have is one of those instruments. They're all there. My job is not to try and ignore any one of them. My job is not to deny the fact that they even exist. My job is not to put any one of them necessarily on a massive pedestal. My job is to be the conductor, to ensure that it is this multiple magnitude of beautiful, amazing realities of life that combined makes me human. And as a human in control, I can be the conductor and I can bring music to the surface from all of these emotions. I do not have to submit to them controlling me. I'm the one standing on the podium with a stick in my hand. I'm the one that's giving the instructions. I'm the one that's saying, your turn to blow a little bit harder. Your turn to be a little bit softer. Wait a minute, I don't want you to make any noise right now. I need you to peak and put up your volume. I'm the conductor. I am in control of all of these emotions without having to deny the existence of any one of them. I do believe the most successful people in this world are not those who never feel any form of negative emotions. Successful people are those that have learned to dance with the music that is made by all of these emotions. And in the midst of all of that, have the ability to move forward towards where they're going and what their lives and their life goals are all about. It's not the denial of these emotions. They exist. It is what do we allow them to do in our lives? Are we in control of all of them? Because here's the interesting thing. I have met people that are not in control of their positive emotions, where they can get, I want to go so far and say hysterically, irritatingly happy, where they literally would go off the other side of the scale. And I don't believe that's the perfect scenario either. But I do believe that we need to learn to embrace everything we feel because to me, that's authenticity. Authenticity without emotional mastery will end up in absolute chaos. Authenticity is the embracing of all your emotional instruments and allowing them to create harmony, create that beautiful dance, utilize all of them, channel them in the right direction. You don't need both the courage to feel or the skill to navigate all of them, perfectly. What you need to do is to start becoming authentic with yourself and realize that there are times that you are down, there are times when you are stronger. One of the things that happens a lot in our industry, we often get told that you're not allowed to feel bad or you're not allowed to feel down because that means you're not successful. And the brain has linked that, I'm only successful when I'm feeling great. No, 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 no. I don't believe that's completely true. Or so sometimes when I'm feeling bad, there must be something wrong with me. I'm broken. No, you're not broken. There's nothing wrong with you. It's the fullness of who we are as human beings. And I do believe we need this truth and we need to embrace this truth. So I hope you guys forgive me that I'm talking about negative emotions on a limitless, positive, personal development platform, but we really need to understand this and grasp what's happening. So let's get a bit detailed. Let's dive in a little bit deeper here. Let's understand something. So the first thing I want you guys to understand, emotions are not random events happening to us. So say again, Dion. Emotions are not random events that are happening to us. I want you to see your emotions as highly sophisticated data signals or data systems that are designed to navigate your life. So the question is not a matter of if you're going to have them, it's a matter of are you going to be able to master them? Emotions and feelings are data systems. These are feedback loops. So where do they come from? Emotions are usually triggered by something on the outside or the inside, and it's almost like a, a mouse on a spinning wheel, and it just runs, and it sometimes goes a little bit fast, and that's when we experience it. But it's interesting that the conscious brain will only experience an emotion after it's started. There's a split second, a couple of milliseconds delay in us actually experiencing it. But my question is, why do they exist? They exist because they are mechanisms of feeding information. So let's understand that they are data systems and they exist. Different types of feelings, different types of emotions exist. They are there. It's not the fact that they are there, it's how do we manage them and or do we allow them to manage us? So there's basically three ways that most people typically respond to any kind of a call it an emotional data signal that comes in. Number one, we go into the simple one, which is called the victim mode, which is a reactive mechanism of responding. And that's when the emotion takes control of us. Now, there are times when, bump my own desk. There are times when this is going to happen. If you get really bad news, let's say, and let's be real, let's say someone passed. That's bad news. Someone you loved, someone you cared about has passed away. Is that bad news? Yes, that is. Is there going to be a reactive kind of emotion that is going to control you for a time? Yes, there will. Can you take a more responsive uh, at reaction? Can you take control over the later stage? Yes, you can. So in some cases, there's a short time of reactive, and then we become proactive with the emotion. So what is victim mode a response? It's when that first phase of the emotion that does and sometimes does control us, if we allow it to stay in control, now we become victim mode. Now it goes into now this emotion is taking control of me. So it's literally like, I mean, if you look into the sun, if you're standing outside and you look into the sun, eventually it's going to start affecting your eyes. Now, is there anybody here that's going to keep looking into the sun until you go blind eventually? No, you're not, because logically you know that keep looking into the sun is not going to be good. So you're going to change something in your behavioral process. You're going to look away. Emotions work the same way. They are very often there are negative emotions we are experiencing, and we got two choices. If we go into victim mode, that's like keep staring at it and allow it to do to you whatever it is doing. Or you can take control and just like not looking into the sun anymore, you can take control of the emotion and you can redirect that energy somewhere else. So that's one way of looking at the emotions. Another way of looking at emotions or how people very often experience it is the suppressive mechanism. And another word for the suppressive is we go into denial. We say, it's not happening. So we try and control what we are feeling by saying it's not happening. And we do the same thing on the positive side. Sometimes you look at someone and you fall in love with a person, and conditions, life circumstances, and things are structured in such a way that that love is not really going to bring you any benefit. And you try and deny it, and you go home and you're like sad, and you're feeling lonely because you can't be that person because you're trying to deny it. So we try and deny the positive and the negative. I'll give you another example. I mean, someone buys a car. And you look at the car and you really, I mean, it's a beautiful car. It's an amazing car. You love the car. You want the car like that. And you go, "Oh, it's not a nice car." And you come up with all these lies about yourself. Yeah, but look at the rims or the engine is pathetic. and you come up with all these negative things around that emotion you're feeling, because what you're doing is you're merely just trying to suppress it. You're going into denial mode. That's not the most healthy way of dealing with emotions. So what's the best way? It's being responsive. It's learning to master them and work with them because they are there. And again, I'm going to come back to the story. See yourself as the conductor, and you've got this magnificent orchestra and all of the emotions. I mean, how many emotions have you got? You want to list them all? We got lots. We got lots, and we got them all on different scales as well. So, can you see there's a massive, massive orchestra of different, all these musical instruments, and imagine each one of them was an emotion. And you know what? Mastery means knowing when to allow which one to do what it does well. If I'm trying to make certain types of music, there's a time for the violins to play. There's a time for the violins not to play. It's not the fact that they play or are there or not. It's knowing when they are required and giving them the permission and the instruction, now's your time. But also, all right, slow down now, quiet down. All right, stop. It's that guy's turn. That's mastery. It's having the awareness, the acceptance, and the full embracing. It's learning to create beautiful music with all of your emotions. So, what do we need to do? We need to look at it and possibly see it as a new form of emotional intelligence upgrades. So, how do we do it? Well, number one, I didn't mention this. Learn to think about your emotions as incoming data, as information. So, an emotion is not an instruction, it's merely information, it's merely data. It's not an instruction. It's not a factual final. See emotions as a temporary visitor and not as a permanent resident. No emotion that you're experiencing is a permanent resident. They are visitors. They've come in, they're having a cup of coffee, but they are going to leave at some stage. And if you get a visitor coming to your house for a cup of coffee, who determines how soon that visitor leaves? Well, hopefully you. Sometimes you want them to linger a little bit longer and you can ask them to stay, but sometimes you want them to leave because you need to do other things and you're going to ask them to leave. So learn to take full control and realize this is merely information. It's not an instruction. It's not a permanent resident. It's merely a visitor, and it is going to come and it is going to go, and it's going to come and it is going to go. So emotions or feelings is not a permanent state. It's not a hovering consistent. It's not a destination. It's just data. It's just information. It's just telling me something has happened and now there's a reactive kind of response. Now something is happening because of it. So true power, emotional intelligence starts to recognize the emotion and very simply asks, well, what just happened? And what's led to this? And what is it teaching me? What's the purpose of what am I learning here? What's the gift it brings? What's the reason it's here? So a lot of people try and cut out or eliminate a lot of the emotions they're feeling. I don't believe it's necessary. I believe we require emotional agility and we need to embrace this massive orchestra of beautiful emotions that we experience. We need to embrace all of them. It's about learn to have better relationships with all of your emotions, possibly. Um, it's it's like family. You know, you've some of you guys have got huge families. I know some of you guys don't necessarily, but you know, if you had come from a family that's got lots of brothers and sisters and cousins and uncles and aunties, and the whole family comes together for a festive season, holiday, or whatever the case may be, or someone's celebration, a birthday. I mean, do you like everybody in that family? I mean, do you really, really get along with all of the people in the family? And especially if it's a little bit long into the social and some of the family members really become irritating and they become unwanted guests. Here's the thing, they're still family. You can't just ignore them, close your eyes, and poof, they disappear. They're still part of your family. And it is that whole family that is part of your existence and your reality. So emotions are the same. See them maybe as family or guests, and they come in and they go, and it's fine. It's the fullness of life. It's embrace them all because here's the thing. How do you know you're happy? How do you know you're having a joyful time? How do you know you're in a great state? The only way you're going to know is by knowing that there is an opposite, so you must have felt the opposite. I drink a lot of water. How do I know I really enjoy drinking water? Well, I've been thirsty before. How do you know that you really, really love someone? Well, your heart's been broken before. How do you know that you are feeling fantastic? Well, you felt terrible at some stage in our life. We require these. So to me, it's not a matter of the fact that both exist. My definition of mastery really is that I need the one to appreciate the other. But it's not a matter of the fact that both need to exist. It's which one do I give the most attention to and which one I spend the most time with. So let's go back to the whole thing where your whole family comes together. There's certain family members that you absolutely love. You love spending time with them. There's 50 family members in one building. Which ones are you going to deliberately choose to spend the most time with? Or the ones that serve you the most, the ones you love the most. The ones you like the least, you'll greet them politely, you'll give them the recognition and the respect required, but you're not going to sit with them the whole night and smile and embrace them and have a big party with them. You will have an awareness of them, but you'll spend time with the ones you love. Emotions work the same way. Recognize and respect and identify the ones you don't like so much, and spend time with the ones you do. It's as simple as that. So learn that awareness, recognize what you're feeling, and learn to decide what you want to feel. Allow emotions without judgment, because that's the whole thing. You know, these emotions come in, and then and I'm talking about judgment, not the emotions. We judge ourselves. We say to ourselves, "I'm weak for feeling this." No, you're not weak. You're normal. I'm feeling imposter syndrome, Dion. That's it. That's a feeling. That's an emotion. It's not a weakness. You know what? I Everybody feels it at some stage. How do you know you can do something extremely well and you're top of your game if you haven't had a little bit of imposter syndrome? You need the one to understand the other. So when they come, it's that family member. They're part of your family. Greet them, recognize them, give them respect, but spend time with the ones you love that you want to. Learn to understand what every emotion wants to tell you. Because here's the next thing that most people don't always realize. Everything in life has meaning. Everything has data. There's a lesson in something. And sometimes we don't always understand it logically. So I've got no problem in sometimes feeling something that creates a little bit of discomfort, not understanding it in the moment, and then I'll park it. I spoke about this on Saturday with a group, and I said sometimes we need to create naughty corners for our emotions. And, you know, I feel you, I recognize you, but what I want you to do is I want you to just go wait in my room for me. I'll see you at 5 o'clock, then I'll talk to you. I'm not going to deal with you right now. I'm going to deal with you at a later stage. And very often that time frame just gives us an emotional strength to sort of process it a little bit better so that we can deal with it a little bit better when we get there. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with it. I mean, when I was young, I was told before you get angry, count to 10. And what are you doing? Well, you're taking that emotion, you're putting it in a nautical, and you're saying, wait a little bit, I'm going to deal with you in a bit. Nothing wrong with that. If there are certain emotions, you don't enjoy them and you don't understand them, don't try and go into paralysis by analysis and trying to figure out everything in the moment. Just park them for a while. You can deal with them a little bit later, but deal with them. Don't ignore them. Don't say they're not existent. Sometimes you want to give them a name. Give them a funny name. Anger. Take anger and say, sloppy, sliding swear words, thingy. I don't know. I just came up with a name. So go stand in the corner. I'm going to deal with you later, and then continue with your life, process it, and then come back to it. I hope that makes sense. I hope you guys are learning a little bit about emotions. and the complexity. So there's a space between, I wrote this down earlier today, and I'm just reading literally what I wrote down. There's a space between what you feel and how you respond. Or this space, sorry, I missed that word. This space between what you feel and how you respond. The space between what you feel and how I respond. That space between, that's where my power lies. That's where maturity lies. That's where I am the conductor. So, do we all feel these things? Yes, we do. Have we got the ability to respond? Yes, we do. But the gap in how we do that, that's where the power lies. So, what is it that we can do? How can we respond? So, I've got a couple that I want to share. So, let's start with one, which is fear. A lot of people, when they experience fear, they see it purely as a negative. Well, again, if you listen to most of my trainings, and I talk about that a lot, if you look at, who we were as hunters and gatherers before we became sophisticated humans, fear was an element that kept us alive because fear allows our hearts to beat faster, allowing more blood to and oxygen to move through our bodies, which gives us a better physical ability, which alerts our senses and protects us from danger. So fear protects us from danger. Another way of looking at fear, fear creates a heightened level of focus and it can be utilized to sharpen our preparation and ability to do anything. So fear is not necessarily a negative, even though in the moment when we feel it, it's a negative, but it exists in duality. So on the one side, I've got fear, which is a feeling. On the other side, I have got a response or a manifestation of what I'm feeling, or the mechanism in what I allow it to become, or the time I spend with it, or the sound I want that instrument to make. So I can feel fear and I can go, this is creating focus. This is sharpening my preparation. This is sharpening my ability to respond, to react, to be. I'm at a heightened level of awareness when this is happening. Same emotion, duality of meaning. Another one we can look at is anger. And I know it's odd. The last couple of weeks, I had a lot of people talk about anger and anger management. And I've heard people say that they never get angry. And sometimes I don't know. I think they should get angry if they never get angry because how do they know they're in self-control if they never get angry? We need the duality for existence to exist. But for me, I don't have a problem in getting angry because what do I get angry at? I get angry at injustice in this world. So sometimes me getting angry is the fire I need to ignite me into action, to do something that is more proactive and not just be an observer of what's happening in this world around me. Sometimes our anger makes us proactive and take amazing action steps. So can you see how I'm taking the one and I'm saying, well, this exists, but there's an opposite and a difference and a different mechanism of manifesting it. It's almost like taking a violin and giving it to a complete novice. Now, if you're going to give me a violin, I've never played a violin, I'm fairly certain the sound that's going to come out of that's going to be horrible. But if you give the violin to a master violinist, what's going to come out of it is going to be beautiful, amazing, soothing music. Feelings can be the same. Some feelings, if you give it to a novice or someone that's not emotionally mature, what's going to manifest from it is going to be something really horrible and screeching sound. Where if you give the same emotion to someone that's emotionally mature, that's in control of who they are, that is the true conductor of their lives, what's going to come out is going to be something amazingly beautiful sound that's going to come from there. So what else can we look at? We can look at sadness, which is one. We looked at fear, we looked at anger. Let's take sadness. So how can sadness serve me? I do believe sadness is a requirement for us to transform grief into compassion and emotional resilience. So even sadness is not in its fullness only a negative. I can look at it from a opposite and shift it. So almost any and every emotion you can really decide what it is that you want to do with it. What do you want to do with it? So One of the interesting things, and I'm in the neuro science, neurolinguistic industry, and one of the things that we are very much aware of is if you take people that are very resilient, that are very capable of continuously moving forward, irrespective of what's happening to them, it's not that they have different brains. What they have are different habits. And they've trained their brains. If you have a really deep conversation with them, they've trained their brains um, to process emotions so that emotions build strength instead of creating suffering. So the emotion has got the ability to either create suffering or build a strength. And you can build a resilient mind where your brain automatically starts to not ignoring it, not suppressing it, not saying it doesn't exist, but using it for something better, something that's amazing that can come. So, what are some of the ways we can do this? Well, there's a couple of concepts we need to understand, three main ones, and that is number one, all feelings pass. All feelings pass. Now, if you talk to people that are not emotionally resilient, that struggle with a lot of emotions, they will use like I always feel this way. I've been like this forever. It's a there's a permanent linkage to it. Where if you look at people that are emotionally very resilient, they realize all emotions, all feelings are temporary. All feelings pass. The second one that's interesting is people that are not emotion resilient usually go global with the emotions. So when one thing goes wrong, everything is wrong. You can be in a conversation with someone you love, and they can say one thing you don't like, and then all of a sudden, I'm packing my bags, I'm leaving, I'm out of this relationship, I'm moving to another country, I'm changing my name. Everything is like it's a massive, massive, massive shift. Where if you look at people that are emotionally resilient, they'll look at it and they'll go very specific, and they say, "This situation, this part of the situation, this element is challenging. Where we need to work on this element." So resilient people have got the ability to hone in on the detail and eliminate just that little bit small thorn that is required to be fixed and not take everything and say, well, everything's collapsing. The third one is a difference between looking at everything from an external perspective or looking at it from an internal perspective. So someone that's not very emotional resilient will very often say, I am. They'll start the sentence, I am depressed. I am broken. I am struggling. Where people that are emotional resilient won't say, I am. They'll say, this is happening. Or what has happened was, and then they'll tell you what has happened. So it's almost as if people that are emotionally very resilient can look at what is happening from a distance. They're not fully immersed and subjective in this experience. They can look at it a little bit more objectively and from that give it a more, let's say, emotionally mature kind of a perspective on what is really happening. So what do we want to do? We want to take all these concepts I explained tonight and we want to practice them and build better emotional responsive habits. That's basically what emotional mastery is all about. So here's a statement, and I write things down every now and then. I wrote something else down. Recovery isn't about bouncing back to where you were. I want to say this slowly because we need to grasp this. Because a lot of people talk about recovering from emotional setbacks or emotional traumas or whatever. Recovery is not bouncing back to where you were. That's not recovery. Recovery is about bouncing forward to where you're meant to be. Emotions has got the ability to sometimes in the short term create pain. Emotional maturity or resilience means I can bounce back from that pain, but not bounce back to where I was. I can bounce forward to where I need to be or can be or should have been in the first place. And to me, that's a mechanism. If we grasp that, that's a mechanism of well, I said originally, emotions are data systems that's incoming. So that's a mechanism of upgrading your data management system, your data network, your operating system for that mechanism. So how do we do that? So I'm going to give you a short acronym and then we're going to land this plane because I want to give you guys a tool. And the tool is a very, very simple one. It's called the RISE method, RISE, recognize. So when you feel something, recognize it. So what am I feeling now? What's the name? What's happening? Where in my body am I feeling it? Recognize it. It's like it's that gathering of the family members, uncles, whatever his name is that you don't like because he's weird. Good day, greet him, recognize. Good day, uncle, weirdo. Recognize, give him a name. Don't ignore it. If you turn away and look away, he's gonna come, he's gonna tap you on the back, and then he's gonna go hug you and he's gonna grab you by the cheeks and go, hello. He's going to be there. He's not disappearing because you don't recognize him. So recognize it. Number two, investigate. So what you want to do with every single emotion or every feeling you have is ask it a simple question. What are you trying to tell me? Do you hear that? It's a simple question. What are you trying to tell me? Not what are you telling me or what are you proof of? I want you to hear how I phrase that. What are you trying to tell me? If I go, what are you proof of? I immediately go into a negative mindset. If I ask, what are you trying to tell me? And I will use that tonality inside my own head because when I talk to myself, I hear my voice. So I'll use that. What are you trying to tell me? And then it gives me a couple of options. Then number three, rise. R, recognize. I, investigate. S, strategize. What action, reaction, behavior will serve me the best right now? So what am I doing through this process? If I recognize and I investigate, I am actually, without you realizing, taking that emotion and putting it in the naughty corner for a little while. So I'm recognizing, I have to be subjective to recognize. I've got to investigate. Hmm. I have to be objective to be able to investigate. So that gives my brain time to process. Now I'm at a stage where I can say, all right, so what action would serve me the best right now? If I ask that question the moment I feel the emotion, I haven't had time to process and I haven't gone objective. So I've got to go through these phases in sequence. Recognize, investigate, and then decide on what's the strategy that I'm going to follow. And then it's quite simple. Number four, E, execute. Take action regardless of the feeling. Execute the strategy that you've decided on. This is going to be the best for me. And just do it. It's not that simple. Mastering your emotions is like going to the gym. You've got to build those muscles sometimes. It's through consistency and practice that we get to that level where we become resilient and emotionally mature. So when emotional challenges come for the rest of your days, for the rest of your days, they are going to come. So it's not a matter of ever conquering unwanted or, not the nicest emotions. They'll always be present in our world. They'll always be present in our lives. That's something, that's a fact, unfortunately. But we have got the ability to become limitless, amazing, awesome. We've got the ability to take control of the effect these emotions have on us. We don't we don't need to eliminate all these negatives. We need to become master navigators of this emotional orchestra, this emotional landscape. We've got that ability and we are capable of it. So let's rise to that channel. So I want to leave you guys with a final statement. The world doesn't need you to be perfect. The world needs you to be powerful, and your power isn't never feeling difficult emotions. It's in feeling them fully and still choosing to create beauty, to love, to grow, to serve, and to be an amazing human being. I'm going to repeat that. The world doesn't need you to be perfect. It needs you to be powerful. And your power isn't in never feeling the difficult emotions. Your power lies in feeling them fully and still choosing to create beauty, still choosing to be loving, to love and be loved, still choosing to grow and assist others to grow, still choosing to be humble, magnificent, and awesome, still choosing to serve yourself and humanity and those around you. That is emotional mastery. That's your brightness. That's your limitless potential. From me, Dion, be limitless. Embrace those magnificent emotions, each one of them. Recognize them, honor them, and then ask them, what's that gift you bring me? You exist for a reason. Let's figure it out. Let's embrace it. And let's use this power to move forward. I'm Dion from Action Factory. This is Limitless. I'll see you right here exactly a week from now.